My wife and I and our 2 boys live here in Central PA. I'm very fortunate to have found the house with an in-law suite. So once we established ourselves, we moved our in-laws. Now we have a big, happy family here in Central PA. You know, several folks in my family have served. My father was in the Air Force. My uncle was in the Air Force. We've had someone in the military for more than a century. My great-grandfather, I have the postcard that he got to go and be mobilized to go to serve in World War I. It's very, to me, striking that me as a veteran here in 2022, I face some of the same issues that my great-grandfather faced after World War I. He came back with maladies and things that happened to him in the war, and he had to go to the VA as well. My career for the U.S. Army started in 1986. I enlisted on my 17th birthday. I'm one of those kids. Got my parents to sign, and off I went. I spent my first 10 years in the Chemical Corps doing a very unforgiving and miserable job. Was fortunate enough to transition out of that field in '96 to public affairs and never looked back. I then left the public affairs field for an appointment to Command Sergeant Major in 2011. And then when my son was born in 2012, I put in my paperwork to retire because he became my priority. So I deployed 3 times to Iraq. I was part of a special team doing media acquisition. Basically, we were telling soldier stories all over the country. Unfortunately, it was that deployment where I sustained a serious injury, and not even a heroic injury. I stepped in a hole and twisted my back and herniated 5 discs. And we had 4 months left on a deployment. There was no way I was leaving my unit, so I stayed and suffered through the pain. And it wasn't until I got back and it was so debilitating that I sort of was forced to go to the VA. Even though I managed to become a civilian at the time working for the Army, I was still relying on the VA for medical care. When I injured my back, I could not function. It was excruciating for me just to sit like I'm sitting now. Fortunately for me, the Mission Care Act was passed. It provides more access for disabled veterans to get care in the community, which is vital to everything that we need. There are specialties that we don't have at the Veterans Administration. There are specialties, just like in the civilian sector, that are months-long waits. Public health care systems helping pick up that slack from the Veterans Health Administration is vital to our care. And I was able to get to UPMC, select by name the neurosurgeon that I wanted to see. He was ready to schedule me for surgery within a week. We did 2 surgeries. He fixed my neck first. I regained all the feeling in my arm, which was amazing because I had lost feeling down my bicep, down this part of my arm, and these 3 digits. Then he fixed my lower back. I was able to move again. I wasn't in pain, and I could get out and became active again. I'm fortunate that the Mission Care Act was put in place, and then it enabled me to help take more control of my own health care. I have resources. I have a family that supports me. I am still able to work, but there are guys out there that don't have this. 22 and 40,000. 22 veterans are going to die every day of suicide. 40,000 are going to sleep on the streets tonight. And that is unacceptable.